you and I do directly, presenting stuff, being the face in front of a camera. I know what I do because I went the old-fashioned route when it existed. Messed about in radio 35 years ago and then drifted into television. Alex, just describe the new career path. How did it happen for you? And I'm going to take notes because I want to learn about this. How did it happen for you? Why am I talking to you as quite a well-known face on something that didn't exist when I started work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did the whole uni thing, didn't know what I wanted to do, and then I worked at Domino's Pizza for a couple of years, and then I decided, well, I knew always that I loved cars and I wanted to do something with cars. So I made a beeline for a local newspaper that had a motoring section. It's called the Exeter Express, I think it was.
Well known.
Very well known. The motoring section is legendary. And then the editor there told me about the automotive journalism course, which is actually a thing at Coventry. So I did that for a couple of years, got my foot through the door at Autocar, and then I met a guy who started a blog called Car Throttle. This was 2011, I think it was. And then he said, "Do you want to come over and be website editor?" I said, "I'm really bored at Autocar." No offence to anyone who reads Autocar, but it wasn't really my gig. And I joined as website editor, and then there was a YouTube channel. And YouTube back then was very much not really a thing. There was no money in YouTube. When I was working at Autocar, there was no money in that, so there was no kind of career path for me. And then my boss said, "Do you want to try your hand at videos?" And I am inherently lazy. So if I can speak to a camera and mess around with cars, then I don't have to write anything down, do I? So it's a lot easier, and editors can make me look very clever and extremely sexy. But I worked...
They haven't yet, but I'm sure they could.
Right, thanks. But yeah, I worked at Car Throttle for 10 years, building up the YouTube channel from, I think it was about 10,000 subs to 3.1 million. And then in April of this year, I thought, stuff it, I'll go freelance, I'll give it a bloody good go. And then I started Autoalex. In 6 months, 425,000 subs, and it has become my job. My hobby is my job, and it just blows my mind that I get to share a stage with a fellow short man.
So that's a sort of compact version of your career path. I'm just looking around here. There are a number of young people. I wasn't looking at you. There are a number of young people here for whom careers are in the future, and probably some of you, kids particularly, will be saying, "Oh, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to do that," and might be doing it for the sake of pursuing fame and fortune. But the key thing is, in your career, it's immediately obvious. It's rooted in a passion for the subject. You went to university to study it, to engage with your passion for things automotive. And I'm guessing that would be your advice. That's key. It's got to be famous for something, for being passionate about something, for knowing about something.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I would say if you wanted to get into YouTube, and if you want to have a career out of it, you need to dare to be different. Don't follow the crowd. Like we were saying yesterday, there's loads of people who spend loads of money financing supercars and going on adventures. But for me, that's not, that is the unobtainium. What I like to do is buy cars for £500, go on adventures, buy a caravan, throw tomatoes at caravans. You just mess around, stuff that you would do with your mates.
And well, stuff that I would with my mates. That's the thing I was about to say to you. There's no way is there a career in buying stupid, inappropriate cars and going on adventures.
No.
What is it about that people enjoy? There's a load of people, I'm sure you could tell us, but it does chime. There's something about, is it about accessibility? Is it about reality? What is it? Why do people love the stuff you do on Autoalex?
It's exactly that. I mean, it's relatable content, right? I release videos on a Thursday, and you can watch me and my friends buy a Mazda Tribute for £300 and then a caravan for £450, and then we just go on an adventure around Wales. If the car breaks down, it doesn't matter, just chuck it in the sea. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That was not actual advice, kids.
Is that not Drive Tribe official advice?
No, the Drive Tribe's name is not under that advice. No.
Okay, it's a river. Chuck it in a river.
No body of water.
Sorry.
Do not throw cars into bodies of water.
No, okay, so relatable content is stuff that you see me on YouTube doing, and then you think to your mates, you'll phone them up or WhatsApp them and say, "Hey, Alex and Taylor, they bought this car in a caravan. Why don't we do that this weekend?" Because if it all goes wrong, if the car blows up or if the caravan body comes off the chassis, which it has happened before, you're not going to lose that much money, are you? And you can look back on it in 10 years and say, "Do you remember when we had that £300 caravan We got, I don't know, we drove through the sea. It's just making memories for not a lot of money. It's all relatable content and messing around. It's not the unobtainium that I like. I don't like to live above and beyond my means. Everything that I own is because I can afford it, which is why everything I do own is about 500 quid.
Just a note that what you make a living now, and you've taken a risk setting up on your own. It is a risk. It's scary. I know. You've taken that risk, and your career is founded on talking about cars. Everything that we're all passionate about at this event, that we've all come to see the cars and enjoy. There are those who would say, Alex, that's a stupid move because it's all going to vanish soon. Because very soon people won't own cars, they'll co-own them. They'll take a share in an electric car that drives itself to get you to work or school. Are you not going to go out of business eventually?
Yes.
Right, that's covered that. Good, moving on.
No, I think there's always passionate people will keep, their passions alive. If older cars get taken off the road, then there will be racetracks or whatever else. There's also, alternative fuels, and there's, with the classic cars at the moment as well. If you have a classic car that's over 40 years old, no MOT, no tax. Make the most of what we can do at the moment. Buy cool classic cars, cheap cars, go on adventures. But you are right. The future isn't certain for us, which is why we've got to work bloody hard now to make sure that we make a living out of it.
I'm more wildly optimistic than you. I think the opposite. I think it's going to absolutely explode and become far, far bigger, because I think when we are faced with the prospect, possibly from 2030, of simply taking a share in an autonomous Tupperware box, basically, that gets us to work and school, that's fine. I've no problem with that. That'll do its job. But everything that we're doing here is about something else. Everything we're doing here is about expressing our passion for what I would say is the single most important artifact humanity has ever designed. What do we need? We need shelter. Okay, you need a house, a tent, a cave, whatever. Everything else you need, everything, food, resources, a mate, opportunity, everything involves moving. And next to our houses, the one thing we as a species have created is a device to move us bodily from where we are to where we need to be. And whether that is to be first, to find a mate, to get food. That's the most fundamental thing we've ever done. It's never going to go away. I think what it will do is polarize out. And I think come 2030, when electric cars happen, and by the way, that's only new cars. I don't know who here, but typically most people don't buy a new car. Most people buy an older car.
Because we're not idiots.
Exactly, and therefore, all of these cars, ICE cars, internal combustion engine cars, will be on the road for decades to come, and synthetic fuels absolutely and categorically will save it, because rather than reinvent and remanufacture the entire global car fleet with the resulting billion-year carbon footprint, it's far better to make, do and mend. And that the grooviest thing a young person could do in 10 years' time is leave their house wearing a pair of jeans they've mended themselves, rather than have somebody else's child on the other side of the world make a new pair. And don't put this pair of trainers in landfill because they're out of fashion. Wear them until they're worn out, and then get into a car whose carbon footprint is 40 years old, run it on synthetic fuel. It'll be the greenest thing any of us can ever do. So I don't think what you do, what I do, what we all love is going to go away ever. To put it one more way, when you keep fit, you exercise.
Are you flirting with me?
That was a little subtle move. I run as well, and I wear an Apple Watch when I do that because it tells me my heart rate. Really big numbers for a man my age. It tells me it does amazing things that a watch can't do, but I still love an analog watch because it's an expression of human ingenuity and creativity. Exactly right. They haven't gone away. In fact, sales in that industry are going through the roof because it's polarizing out, and that's what's going to happen. And one day when we're sitting here feeling all beleaguered, we're all looking in this way thinking, there's just us who like these old cars, just us who are car enthusiasts. I think come 2030 we'll look over our shoulders and realise, oh, and so does everybody else. It's only going to get bigger, so I think you'll still be working.
I hope so.
I have a question for you now, slightly left field. When you were at Carthon, the other thing that you did before.
Yeah, the other thing.
You had working for you a wee Scottish fella, Mike Fernie.
He was a wee Scottish fella, eh, Paul?
We Mike. He's like, oh, there he is, Luke. You had Mike Fernie working for you. He technically he works for me now, but it doesn't feel that way, Mike, to be honest. Most of the time, I was going to say buggers off. I mustn't say that, must I? No, I shan't. He goes away in one of the Drive Tribe cars and disappears with them. Give me some goss on him. I need it.
Has he ever gone out with you with a kilt?
He has never worn a kilt in my presence.
Has he not?
No.
It gets really sexy really quickly.
You must never wear it. No, you played the bagpipes on Channel once. You must have some gossip about it. Come on.
I don't actually, because we actually spent most of the time just in the office, didn't we? Or you were working from home and you were doing your engineering pieces, you know. And I did tell you how bad your writing was because it wasn't that good. Lucky for you, though, you're on the screen, though.
Were you
like me, I think you're inherently lazy and you're just better in front of a screen than on a typey machine.
Were you horrible to him? Were you beastly?
I was the Beast. I actually made him call me Mr. Beast. That's from Sex and... No, that's not. That's
Mike,
that's
he's
Ben.
here. Is there any question I can put to Alex? Something that will make him cry, run away, sue. Ask him what? Ask him what he benches. They'll think I'm flirting with him again. I'm not doing that.
Look at me in the eyes when you ask me.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And then just to come back to, because there are young people here who might be thinking of careers in and around the automotive industry. The track you've taken, your passion for cars, it runs in your veins. It's what you love. You've chosen to explore that by communication. So have I, because I'm no good at anything. What would you say to anybody who wants to work in the car industry, to pursue this route, to pursue another route? Where should they go?
So I would say, if, like I said, dare to be different, don't follow the crowd. If you've got a passion and it's a little bit unique or left field, run with it. Because, like Richard, I'm a weird small bloke who likes old cars, cheap cars, and we've done all right. I mean, he's doing all right.
Like me, I'm still listening to that bit.
Yeah, that's all right,
Weird,
that's all right.
small bloke.
We're all friends, but yeah.
We were.
I would say weird, quirky is good because you're going to stand out, and people will get used to your quirks and they'll learn to love your quirks. I would say if you're starting out, don't go spending 20 grand on, equipment, mics or cameras. Most mobile phones, they've got warp stabilization, all the rest of it. So get used to being in front of the camera, start your own YouTube channel, have branding, get on Instagram, get on TikTok, make sure everything is aligned nicely, because if you've got lots of places, lots of different social media places, people are going to get really confused. Make sure everything branding wise looks good, looks smart, and then just run with it and give it a bloody good go.
We're addressing the younger people in the audience. I'm loving looking at the people my age going, yeah, I have no idea what that man is saying. I simply do not understand what he's going on about. Do you think, over the time that you've been working in the industry, since 2000...
Since about 2010,
That's
I would
a while.
say, yeah, long time.
Have you seen it change, the automotive world?
So the thing that I've seen change most, when I was working at Autocar, you had all the very serious journalists, the road testers and the road test editors are very, very serious about everything. And YouTube was just starting to become a thing. And then, you'd have a new YouTuber come up, and then he'd, in the thumbnail, it'd be a picture of himself with a car, and then you'd have the road tester say, oh, look at this. This is terrible. They're taking pictures of themselves and putting it in the thumbnail. And then everything's come full circle, hasn't it? Because those road testers are now doing YouTube videos. They're now posing in front of their cars like this. Or like that. And it's come full circle. So for you as well, I was meaning to ask you, what has the transition from big TV to YouTube been? Because I imagine being on the big screen, it's a very, very different world.
In some ways, yes, but I've been broadcasting in the old-fashioned sense for 35 years. So there are a set of skills, if you like, there's a craft to it that you acquire over those decades, some of which is relevant, some of which isn't relevant to a new way of communicating digitally. But I think at the heart of it is the subject, and I think the one thing that will always be transparent is if the passion for that is genuine or not. It's shared by everybody in these halls, everybody apart from I've seen a few people being dragged around by partners. Most of us, it is shared, and you can tell if that's genuine. I think that's absolutely key to it. Right, thank you so much for coming to visit us on our
My
little
pleasure.
What's next for you? Where are you going? What does it feel? Where would you go? You're the kind of chap, you'll have a plan. Something I never had in my entire career, but I bet you have. I bet there's a drawer. Have you got a file? Alex's plan. You have.
I don't. No, my
have.
missus, she'll be shaking her head. Is that right, Rhiannon? I have no plan. I literally have no plan. There's a clipboard with my itinerary today. I have no idea, but Rhiannon carries that around. The plan is to just buy more crap and then try and tart it up, and then if I can't be bothered, just crash it into something and then just film it. Because for me, spontaneity is key.
Kids, that's not necessarily career advice. I'm just looking at some of
No,
these
you need to
young
crash
people.
them into the river.
No,
No?
no,
Sorry.
you need to get good at something and do it a lot.
Yes.
Alex, I still don't fully understand this wonderful new digital world, even though through Drive Tribe I am a big part of it, but thankfully I've got Mike and Lucy to do all of the work.
Yes.
Which keeps me across it. I'm going to watch with fascination as Autoalex continues.
Thank you very much.
Those of you young enough to have a laptop, that's a good 20% of the people here, will doubtless be looking at it and enjoy it. And I will join Alex in, I suspect, hoping everybody has a wonderful Sunday here. Enjoy looking at the cars. I don't know who's made it all the way around all of it yet, but there are 8 halls. It's about 120 miles on foot. Do enjoy. You've seen all of it, have you?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Did you have grown-ups with you? Did you just abandon them along the way? Yeah, he has. You've left them behind. Good.
Are you going to be uploading that to YouTube?
Well, I have a Facebook.
You have a Facebook page, all right. You need to get onto YouTube as well.
See, he started. That's the Alex
He
of the
started.
future. Yeah. Absolute joy to see you, mate. Good luck. Enjoy the rest of the show today, and I
Thank
hope
you.
you all do as well. And we will still be doing this in 2030. Don't you worry. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for dropping in and seeing
Thank you.
us.
Thank you, Rich.
Can you get him to sign it? Come on then, do it now whilst there's no one there.